Harry Doyle here, welcoming all of you to another season of Indians baseball.
Here's a list of players we'll be inviting to camp.
This guy here is dead.
Cross him off, then.
We'd love for you to come to spring training for a shot at this year's club.
By the way, you were with me last night. Who's this chick on top of me?
We'd still like to take a look at you at our spring camp.
Not sure I can make it by then.
Who is that?
Serrano.
What's his religion?
Voodoo.
Hey! Willie Mays Hayes here. Play like Mays, and I run like Hayes. How you doing? What the hell league you been playing in?
California Penal.
Don't you have any proven major league talent?
Now, I want to put together a team that'll help us relocate to Miami.
You want us to lose?
We've been losing. What I want is for us to finish dead last.
This year, the Cleveland Indians have a multi-talented team.
The first offering, just a bit outside.
They're masters of the sacrifice.
He's looking to sacrifice a live chicken.
One whole chicken, just like you said.
The double play.
Excuse me.
I have a much better body than she does.
Begging for me, she really does.
And the pickoff.
Every time we win, we peel a section.
Tom Berenger.
Zipper on your skirt stuck.
Use your imagination.
Charlie Sheen.
These things make me look ridiculous.
Seeing's the most important thing, son. I don't think it's that important.
Corbin Bernsen. And Bob Uecker.
Haywood swings and crushes one towards South America.
Major League.
That ball wouldn't have been out of a lot of parks.
Name one.
Yellowstone.
Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield. Joining me is my podcasting sister from another Mr. and a juvenile delinquent in the off-season, Margot D. Hello, my friend.
Just a bit outside.
It's like the best quote. That quote is so famous from this. It's just a bit outside. Tried to hit the corner and he missed. We are dorking out about 1989's Major League because it is baseball season. It's the most wonderful time of the year. This movie is written and directed by David S. Ward, who I was like, I don't know who that is, but I looked him up. He's been nominated for 2 Academy Awards for screenplays. He wrote The Sting.
Oh, my goodness.
I know. And he wrote Sleepless in Seattle.
Oh, okay.
And
He's not a hack.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, and he wrote Major League? I'm like, but, you know, spoiler, I'm going to make fun of this movie a lot, but I do actually really like it. Like, I do like Major League, but it's got some things that maybe haven't aged so well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It stars Tom Berenger, Charlie Sheen, Corbin Bernsen. Remember when Corbin Bernsen was going to be a thing? Like, he did LA Law, and then Hollywood's like, let's make him a movie star.
I still love him in Hello Again with Shelley Long.
You love Shelley.
I do love Shelley Long.
She loves Shelley Long so much. Wesley Snipes, always so happy to see Wesley Snipes in movies. He's always so good. Margaret Whitten, who is, I think, very funny in this movie. Renee Russo.
Funny. Yeah.
Adorable. Gorgeous.
Great hair.
Gorgeous in this movie. James Gammon, who plays the manager Lou Brown. He's very, very good. And I do want to mention, of course, Bob Uecker as Harry Doyle. He's the radio commentator. He's so funny in this movie.
He's doing the heavy lifting in this film for a lot of scenes. Yeah.
He really is. And then, and Dennis Haysbert, you might know him as the president on 24. or the Allstate insurance guy. Yeah, this is one of the first movies I remember seeing him in. So I want to mention him too. Did you see this movie in the theater?
I honestly can't remember if I did or didn't. Like, I don't remember the first time I saw this movie. I just know that it was on TV all the time in the 90s.
Yes.
You could never not watch Major League, but especially during spring and summer, this was on.
All the time.
Yeah.
And I want to say right off the bat, get it? The bat. Hey-oh. That the team in the movie is the Cleveland Indians, and that is a problematic name. We can acknowledge that. They have since changed their name to their Guardians, the Cleveland Guardians. But in the movie, they are the Cleveland Indians. So if we're saying that and it upsets you, I'm really sorry, but that's what the team is called. So I just wanted to give that a moment. If you haven't seen it, I'll give you a little quick summary, but you should watch it. I don't know how you avoided it this long. A former Vegas showgirl, her rich old husband dies, and she inherits the Cleveland Indians, and she wants to move the team to Miami. And the only way she can do that is if attendance drops below a certain number. So she puts together what she thinks is going to be a really, really shitty team so that they don't win any games. She wants to come in dead last. And they put together all these colorful characters, and I think you can all guess what happens next.
Mayhem ensues.
Mayhem ensues. So we have Tom Berenger, who's the veteran catcher, because all these sports movies, by the way, have veteran catchers. I think the year before Bull Durham came out.
Yes, there were a lot of baseball movies.
Yes, and actually Field of Dreams came out the same month as this movie, but there's a lot of similarities between this because there's the veteran catcher, the hotshot pitcher who can't control his wild pitches. There is a black player on the team who's super into voodoo, or actually I think in Bull Durham he might be Puerto Rican, and they're both into voodoo, and at one point want live chickens to sacrifice to take curses off their bats. That's a thing, apparently, that was happening. So there's a lot of that. Then we have Corbin Bernsen, who's a former hotshot player who is really just in it to make money and make commercials. But it turns out he's not very good at making commercials. And Wesley Snipes, who can just run really fast.
And it's funny as shit.
I think Wesley Snipes is really, really funny in this movie. He's Willie Mays Hayes, and he's what does he say? He's I can run like Mays and hit like Hayes. That's his thing.
He's the Ricky Henderson.
Yes.
Let's be clear. Yeah. Who I do remember, I used to be into baseball when I lived in the Bay Area, and the Bash Brothers were a thing.
Yes.
And Ricky Henderson stole the most bases at the time. I don't know if that record's been beaten.
Yeah, I don't know. Actually, I don't know either, but yes. And go ahead, sorry.
He's famous for giving the least humble speech one could possibly give. I get it. He achieved something great, but it's seriously, thank you all here to worship me because I did something so amazing. I would say it's beyond my dreams, but it's not. I knew one day I would. I was wow. That confidence.
And if you don't know who the Bash Brothers are, that was I suggest you go watch the Lonely Planets Bash Brothers special on Netflix because it's funny as shit. It is so funny. Did I say Lonely Planet? By the way, I said it should be Lonely Island. I apologize.
Lonely Island. And it's Jose Canseco and Mark McGuire.
Yes.
And juiced out of their fucking gourds.
God. Yes.
And we were all like, oh no, they just work out a lot. They take protein shakes.
LOL. Yeah, the Bay Area is very steeped in, actually it used to be very steeped in pretty much all kinds of sports, but baseball in particular, because we have the Oakland A's and the San Francisco Giants, and we also have, we used to have the Oakland Raiders and the San Francisco 49ers. So there was definitely this East Bay, San Francisco rivalry. Yeah, and let me tell you, people here hate it when you root for both teams. And I know this because I root for both teams, and people are like, you can't do that. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm doing it. What are you going to do about it? There's nothing you can do about it. It just means more baseball for me, people.
Yeah.
But I definitely am more Giants than A's, but I do root for both. So sorry, not sorry. Shall we go through this movie? Because there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah. It's watchable. It's very funny. There's stuff there I forgot because I haven't seen this movie in 15 years, maybe 20 years. I mean, it's been a long, long time. So I was surprised. It's watchable. It's a great slice of 1989.
For sure.
That I recognize in the fashions, in everything. What was my point? Just to get it out of the way, the Indian stuff is very jarring to see people in headdresses, and yes, that was the time, and absolutely it took forever for the Redskins to get a new name. I mean, people are but I was like, wow, we really did just adopt a culture.
And by the way, like, they just changed their name like last year. So until like last year, I mean, people were still, and by the way, there are people who still will show up to the games and they've got the headdress and all they because they're just like, I'm making a statement. You can't make me, whatever. But it's still a thing, and honestly, the Braves, the Atlanta Braves are still a thing, and they have their like tomahawk chop and all that. It's
Remember
still
Jane Fonda when she was married to Ted Turner, and she did it too. Yeah. So she's not perfect. But anyway, nobody's perfect. Look, okay, so just getting that out of the way, because I was kind of shocked by that. Because it's just been a while since I've seen the movie. The whole setup is kind of strange. Like, so if they're in last place, she gets to move to Miami. Like, what is the deal?
Okay, so a lot of these teams have contracts with their cities, but they tend to also have like an MLB contract. And this is 100% a thing. The Oakland A's are going through this literally right now. So like the Oakland A's want a brand new ballpark. And I think because I will say this, the Oakland A's, they're currently in the Coliseum. The Coliseum is an older stadium. It is an older stadium compared to a lot of the ballparks that are out now. By the way, the Giants have a beautiful
I get
ballpark.
It. I get they have that envy. Yeah,
for sure. And it's like, it's beautiful. It has a beautiful view. It's easier. Well, they're both pretty easy to get to, actually. But there's a lot to do around the ballpark in San Francisco. And it has like, amazing food, and like, it's a whole scene. The Oakland Coliseum doesn't have jack shit around it. There's nothing to do around the Oakland Coliseum. They like to say that it's hard to get to. It isn't. You can take BART there. It literally has its own BART stop. It's super easy. But it is older. It doesn't have a lot of the new fancy shit like that new ones have. And they want a new ballpark. And apparently Vegas, who already took the Oakland Raiders by building a special stadium for them, has offered to do the same for the A's. So there is a thing where like the owners of the A's are negotiating with Oakland, and they're just like, if you don't give us what we want, we're going to Vegas. And then people are feeling like the owners are kind of sabotaging the team. They don't keep good players for very long. Like, there's a joke about like, you don't buy a jersey with a player's name on it when you root for the A's, because they will trade that player away and you will have a jersey with a name on it that person doesn't play for the team anymore. That is so
sad to me.
It's a huge bummer. It's a bummer, but there's also, it's no reflection on the players. It's not the players' fault. Not. So it's still fun to go. I love to root for the A's because they feel scrappy. Like the team themselves feels scrappy to me. That's why I root for them. But this is a thing, and this definitely happens. And apparently this character in Major League is actually based on someone who inherited the Rams at some point.
Yeah, and LaPierre, was that her name?
Yeah, and she wanted to move the team to like a cooler city than like where they were in Minnesota at the time. So it's not outrageous. This sort of thing happens all the time. But so she makes a list of players she wants invited. And this includes like the coach, Lou Brown, who like works in a garage and manages like one of their like AAA ball teams. They get Tom Berenger, the old-timer who is playing in the Mexican League. He's got bad knees. They got Rick Vaughn, who is Charlie Sheen, who y'all, before Charlie Sheen was like, #winning, like, Charlie Sheen was super fun to watch in movies. And he's pretty sexy in this movie. Like,
yeah,
I like him with his nerdy glasses and stuff. I think he's kind of hot.
Well, and we talked about that off the air really quick. Like the nerdy glasses that he wears, and it's a big point of like comedy in the movie. Everybody wears those now because they're just, that frame is more comfortable if you're going to wear glasses. The
frames he's wearing in those are the frames that like everybody wears now, and there is a whole thing right now where like Pedro Pascal is like doing all this interview, and he's got the same glasses on. Like those glasses are very cool.
Because wireframe glasses break easily.
Yes.
They're very, these are just sturdy. And but at the time, it was a huge joke that he got those. Like seriously, it was a huge laugh about those glasses.
Well, there is the joke where he's just like, it's most important for him to see, and like Wesley Snipes is like, I don't think it's that important. like I would rather look
Wesley
good.
Snipes, very funny, very funny in this movie.
He's so funny in this movie.
Yeah.
I love him so much. And then Corbin Bernsen is Roger Dorn, and he's more interested in like his portfolio, his stock portfolio, than actually playing. And then we get Pedro Serrano. That's the Dennis Haysbert character that I'm not 100% sure how I feel about this character.
It's a bit, so he's, I think, Cuban. Is that what they say?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's into voodoo. It's a lot of stereotypes.
Yeah.
Now, let's be clear. Ball players and athletes are very superstitious people.
Yes.
And you have 160 games plus to play, and you're trying to get the best averages going. So they will do things like, what was it famous? Like Wade Boggs had his girlfriend not wear underwear to the park or something.
Yeah, they have a ton of this. There's a lot of there was a player on the Giants that Ryan Vogelsong, he was a pitcher. He had to eat chicken fried steak every day that he pitched. There's, you'll see a lot of players that are shaving or not shaving, depending on if they're on the streak, right? So it's like, I didn't shave that day and I hit a home run, so now I'm not shaving. Like, they're very superstitious.
Wear their socks a certain way. I mean, seriously, it's all just in prep to do something that, you're in the moment for like a second, and you just want to give your best shot. So you think, if I do these little things, some are very religious, some just play certain kinds of music, and it would make sense. I probably do the same thing. Yeah, if I have to go up to a plate and try to hit a ball, which is one of the toughest things you can do in a sport, is hitting a baseball. I'd have lots of quirks too, but it takes it to a level that's kind of like, it's not very sensitive portrayal. I don't know how Mr. Haysbert, but I mean, it is played for laughs, and
I don't think it's played to be. I don't even think it's necessarily making fun of it so much.
They're just amplifying like the fact that the players tend to be, because I'm sure there has to be guys there with like tarot cards or something. You know what I mean? Like everybody has their thing.
Yeah. Well, and there's the guy that's like, shouldn't we have a prayer before the game? Like his shit is just he's clearly Christian, and he's like, you're saying Jesus can't hit a curveball? Like he's clearly being made fun of as well. So like, I think in some ways it's a little equal opportunity, and I'm fine with that. It gives me pause, and it, like I said, Bull Durham came out the year before, and there was very similar thing with the stuff about killing the chicken and like taking curses off bats and all that stuff. So, but they are very superstitious, and we already mentioned Wesley Snipes, so. The movie starts with like, the spring training montage. We get all these like, lots of diving for the ball, getting hit with the ball. Roger Dorn being shitty to Vaughn. He's shitty to him a lot. And then they do this thing that it does make me laugh every time. They cut to like kind of the fans who are talking about the team. So it's like, they're like, I don't know who any of these guys are. I don't know. they're going to be they're not going to be good this year. And then, of course, my favorite are the guys who actually work on the field, and they're like, they're shitty. And like it repeatedly cuts back to them throughout the movie. So it's like, maybe they're not so bad, and then they cut to the guys on the field. They're still shitty. It makes me laugh. I don't know. So they do the spring training. They, everyone that we think is going to make the cut makes the cut, because that's, of course it does. And then I do love this scene too. Jake, Willie, and Vaughn. So we're talking Tom Berenger, Wesley Snipes, and Charlie Sheen go out to a fancy dinner. And there's like, and Charlie Sheen's wearing a tie with like his tank top and like a jacket with, I think, the sleeves ripped off, because that's
the
his
sleeves
thing.
are cut off.
Yeah, because that's his thing. And he's like, I look like a banker in this. It's like, just because he's wearing a tie. And that's where Jake, the Tom Berenger character, sees gorgeous Renee Russo, like in the restaurant, and she's there on a date. Well, I don't even want to say date, because she's engaged. Like, they're out to like fancy dinner, and he sees her and he's like, oh yeah, her. I used to love her. Now I love her again. And he starts stalking her.
Were they married?
They were not. Married? No. So he does.
I get confused with that story.
Yes. So he's like, that's my wife. And they're like, you were married? And he's like, no, she would have been my wife if I hadn't fucked it up.
Okay, because I get that messed up. But yeah. It's still, they dated. It didn't work out because he was an asshole.
He was. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah,
sorry.
Huge asshole. I mean, later on they have a fight. He's like, sure, I was scoring with some chicks, and he got some VD or an STD from one of them, or got him pregnant.
Yeah. The movie tries to make it look like he's a good guy who totally deserves another chance from Renee Russo. And
Renee Russo, let's say this again.
Yeah. And I'm like, he doesn't. Like, and they're like, come on. Like, the movie is like, give him another chance. You don't want to be married to that stiff, which maybe she doesn't. But Tom Berenger's character, he totally, sorry if this is my personal shit, he doesn't deserve another chance. He was garbage to her. And they repeat it over and over. This, like, how she threw a surprise party for him and he never showed, but a lawyer did, serving him with paternity papers because he cheated, and it happened in front of all their friends and family. He repeatedly cheated on her. And then he makes jokes about it, like, well, she said she had a better body than you, so I had to, make sure that she didn't. And I'm like, fuck off.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, this is all coming back to me. Yeah. He doesn't deserve it. It's totally undeserved. And it should have ended that she did get married, or she decided not to be with anybody.
Yes. And
he should be like, I want to apologize for how he treated you.
Yeah, but that's not what.
No, that's not the movie.
That's not the movie. And
we're supposed to like them. And so we find it likable. We're supposed to, they're lovable rogues is how we're supposed to look at them all.
I texted you during my rewatch, and I was like, I'm getting serious Kirby from St. Elmo's Fire vibes here. Like, he is, and that's the Emilio Estevez character from St. Elmo's Fire. Go back and listen to that episode if you haven't, because it's my favorite.
It's a classic.
It's my favorite. He follows her home from work, shows up at the place. It's not even her place. It's her fiance's place. So he crashes like a party with like their friends. It's super awkward. I'm not leaving you alone until I get your number. Just all this, like, and then he does it again. Like, she goes to a game. He follows her from the game all the way home. Yeah, it's just, I'm like, she said no, dude, but whatever. That's the 80s for you.
It's like, it's supposed to be a game, so play games.
Yes.
That keeps things exciting, right? And it's like, no, that's just torture for each other. That's really messed up to do to people.
Yeah, and this is very 80s, 90s, romantic gestures. Well, let me flip that. It's stalkerish behavior disguised as romantic gestures. Happens a lot in these movies.
It was encouraged, and I
Yes.
think people then felt like, well, that's must be what romance is. Like people just don't know.
Yeah,
You're just like, oh, all right, well, people think it's cute.
Yeah, you don't take no for an answer.
Of course not. You just keep asking and wear them down.
Yes.
That's the same thing as getting consent.
So to be honest, that shit does not work for me in this movie. But I still think Tom Berenger's really good in this movie. But
he's hot. I'd go for it.
Yeah, and like Rene Russo, again, gorgeous in this movie. But that part, every time I watch it, I'm like, fuck him. But
yeah,
whatever. You gotta let it go. Or when I say you, I mean me. I gotta let it go. I do want to, and then we have to say, like, Bob Uecker is playing the sports commentator. His name is Harry Doyle in the movie, and he is so fucking funny in this movie to me. Like, so funny. All the, like, just a bit outside, you know, and he's like pouring whiskey in his coffee, and like
he starts to read a promo, and then he can't find his fuck it.
Nobody's listening.
Nobody's listening. He's super funny. Was he in Mr. Belvedere?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He's very, very funny in this movie, and I did some poking around on like YouTube and on the internet, and like baseball players love this movie. They love it. They all love it, and they particularly love Bob Uecker, and they often say like, not a day goes by that they don't say just a bit outside. Like they all say it. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's a fun movie. If you just count the baseball parts, everything around it is kind of weird, but the relationships around it are, especially with women, are kind of odd. But if you just get the players themselves and when they're doing their thing and when they're fucking up and then when they decide like to band together and really work together, which any team would love that, because anybody wants to think like halfway through a season you could really turn your shit around and wind up winning it all. Why not?
Yeah. So Margaret Whitten, who plays Rachel in this movie, she's the former Vegas showgirl who owns the team. As the team starts winning, she decides, well, I'm going to cut their budget even more. So now they're like flying on an airplane that could like fall from the sky at any second.
It could kill them any second.
Yes.
I mean,
she's like, meh. Like, they don't have hot water anymore. There's a whole thing where she goes into the locker room and she's just like slapping asses and like tapping on their cups and like, Jesus.
Margaret Whitten's really funny.
She's really funny in this movie.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, the pipes are so old in this building, and like, you know, and the coach, the manager of the team, his voice is like perfect, like old coach voice. You know, it's like, I'm too old to dive into lockers, and he just stands there like fucking butt ass naked in front of her. Like, I'm like, the balls on this man. Oh, we can't see his balls.
We don't see his balls.
Let me be clear. We just see his ass, but there's that whole thing. And as the team gets a little better, they keep cutting to the fans, and they're like, you know, they could be worse. And the guys on the field, they're still shitty. And then, but as they start winning, they, like, especially Vaughn, the Charlie Sheen character, like, starts to, like, he really pops. Like, all the women in the town are like, oh, hi. And, like, they're calling him Wild Thing. And they're, you know, and they play Wild Thing when he comes out to pitch. And, like, all the ladies are, like, wearing their shirts that say Wild Thing. And, again, this is 100% a thing that really happens. A lot of pitchers have their, like, songs that they play, and the crowd loses their shit when the songs start playing. And there are some players that are really smoking hot. And
what are some of the songs?
So funny you should ask. I wrote some stuff down because like, I love to go to baseball, and so the Giants in particular, we had a closer named Brian Wilson. That's literally his name. And his song was Jump Around by House of Pain.
Oh, nice.
And they would play it when he was like warming up, and the crowd would go insane.
That is a crowd song, though.
Yes.
That is such a great crowd song. Yeah.
There was another closer on the Oakland A's named Grant Ballflower, I think is how you pronounce it. And his whole thing was he was an angry man. Like, he would just come out and he was just like, yeah, brr, fuck it, brr. Like, he was just very angry. And so they played the, like, guitar section of One from Metallica, where it's just okay. And like, and everybody would just, they would do this thing where they would rage. Like, they would rage and they just like flail their arms around and like bang their heads, and everyone just rages.
I have to watch this on YouTube. I'm going to definitely look that up.
Do it. There was this was so funny to me. So Grant Ballflower's wife was pregnant. I forget how pregnant she was. And they like put her with the wives, like to sit with the wives. And she's like, no, I want to go rage. And so she went to like the bleachers and sat with the hardcore fans in the bleachers for a while and was like raging with the, and I was like, that's amazing. And then I just want to give another shout. So another batter, when he played for the A's, his name was Josh. Shit, I forget his last name. Anyway, his walk-up song, this is the best. Careless Whisper by Wham. And it was the saxophone, and because everyone's song is like, yeah, let's do this is how we do it, you know, it's like rockin' or like got a good beat to it, and his was like the sax solo from Careless Whisper. And like,
I love that sense of humor.
Yeah, and like everyone in the stand would like wave their arms back and forth, and like it was amazing. They all have their things. And
is it still happening?
Yes, they still do it.
Because the NFL would totally make that go away.
Yes,
the No Fun League, like they totally hate touchdown dances and shit like that. I love.
I've never heard them referred to as the No Fun League.
Oh yeah, that's a whole thing. Yeah, they won't let players do anything. We talked about What a Creep. We talked about the NFL.
Yes,
but yeah, they always try to like put a cap on that shit.
Yeah.
And they want more uniformity. And I love the fact that Major League Baseball is like, fuck it, we're here for a few hours.
Yeah.
Let them do their thing.
And that's one of the reasons why I love baseball so much. A lot of people don't like baseball because they think it's too slow. I don't think baseball's too slow. I like that I can talk to someone or go to the bathroom or get something to drink or eat or whatever without missing a ton of shit. Like, I like the pace of baseball. I like the drama between the pitcher and the batter. I like that stuff. I like going to the game where they do things to keep people engaged throughout the game, like raging, like playing those songs, like they tend to lean into the personality of the players a lot. They do a lot of giveaways, you know, of like shirts. And
did you hear the one in Jersey? It was at the Yankees that had a bat night and like giving a bunch of people in the Bronx a baseball bat. It's like not a great idea.
Yeah, I don't know if they do bat giveaways anymore for that very reason. Like, it's mainly T-shirts and bobbleheads at this point, but you know, like a lot of them do like Star Wars night, and you can get like a, you know, like I got a beanie one year for the Giants that's like R2-D2, but it's, you know, it's adorable. Everybody drink. Like, they do fun stuff. I love baseball. And by the way, right now, I just want to say, if you guys want to see like a hot person on baseball, the San Francisco Giants manager, the like head is Gabe Kapler. Hot. Like daddy hot.
Not Gabe Kaplan?
No, not Welcome Back, Cotter.
Julie, did I ever tell you the story about my Uncle Shmuley?
Stick up your nose with a rubber hose. No, Gabe Kapler's, he's daddy hot. Like, just a little tip from your Aunt Sonia here, if you want to see someone.
Gabe Kapler's?
That's it, Kapler.
Tapler, okay.
Kapler, like Kapler. Google it. You'll be like, oh, you dropped. Okay, that happened at like 32. I'm going to call you back. You dropped. What happened? I wrote it down.
Okay, so Sonia,
Yeah.
you don't even have to write. I got so excited. I hit the escape, like the X button on my phone versus swiping it up to look this man up. So that's how like my attention span is.
And were you rewarded when you saw the picture? You're like,
No,
oh,
because I hung up on you. I'm like, oh shit, and then I had to wait for you.
so
I'll have to wait till the end.
Okay, well, I'm telling you, look up a current like San Francisco Giants photo. Sometimes he's wearing his glasses. Sorry, but it's true. And there was photos from just like spring training where women were showing up and their shirts were like, I'm just here for Gabe. Some people were shitty about it, where they were just like, fuck that. Like, and I'm just like, fuck you. Let them have a good time. If this is fun for them and he's cool with it, who cares? Who cares? Let ladies have a good time.
Absolutely. I used to, when I lived in the Bay Area, I worked at the mall, Stone Ridge Mall, not to brag about my credits, but yeah. And that was one of the few malls. I mean, there's so many of them now, but all the players' wives used to go there, like Dennis Eckersley and Mark McGuire, all these really amazing players. I mean, it was, I'm so sad about the Oakland A's because it was a really fun team for a while there.
And they are still fun. It's just a bummer that they don't invest. And it is disheartening for fans. They want players to stick around. They want it. They want to keep the team. It's just it's hard to root for someone when you feel like the owners are sabotaging everything.
So do they want to move to like by the water in Oakland?
That's exactly it. So there is a whole petition or a whole plan to build this new ballpark that's kind of by the water. But
like San Francisco has.
Yeah, very similar to San Francisco. But there's a lot of problems. There's just maybe the site.
Where do you put the people?
Exactly. There's parking issues where they want to move it. I think Oakland has a rule, like if you build things this big, like you need to like also add like affordable housing somewhere in Oakland, and I think the owners are pushing back on that. And I was like, well, that's shitty. Like, there's just there's a lot of
that want to move to Oakland.
Yes.
They need affordable housing.
Yeah, I know that there's a lot of regulations and red tape on these things, but also I'm like, can we just this shit's been going on for a long time.
It's such a nice ballpark. To me, it's old fashioned.
For sure.
They don't tell you when to clap. They don't tell you. I mean, it's just people who like a game,
Yeah. Yeah, it's so funny because, again, here in San Francisco where you have the Giants and the A's, the Giants are also super fun to watch, just saying, and the ballpark is beautiful, but it is also more of a scene, right? So you go and there's like people who aren't there to watch the game. They're just there because they got tickets from their boss or, through their work or...
Oh, yeah.
they're just there to like hang out and eat the food and drink the beer, which, by the way, it's cheaper to do that somewhere else, but whatever. Like, they're just there for a good time, which is fine, but
they do that here in Brooklyn at Barclays Stadium.
Sure, yeah.
It's the same thing. Like, nobody gives a shit about the team. They're just there to kind of like, it's an amazing food court. It's amazing. Yeah. It's a hang. But there's also places to go outside too. It's downtown. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get it.
And the Oakland Coliseum is not like that. There's nothing
it's a parking lot.
Yes, there's nothing walking distance from the Coliseum. And when you go to those games, most of the people there are there to watch the game, which is great. Like, that's great. But they've definitely tried to make it more affordable, and they've definitely done things that I think are super smart. I'm sorry, now this turned into my baseball podcast, but like, they have made tickets way more affordable than San Francisco Giants, so families can go. Like, to go to a Giants game, you have to spend like hundreds of dollars. the A's, you could literally go on a Tuesday night and each ticket's like $5. Like you know, they have like a tree house. They call it the tree house, and you can sit in the tree house and you can just sit wherever you want. You pay like $20. You sit wherever you want. They have, you know, good beer. They have food. They have music. Like they're trying to make it more of a thing. And on sunny days, it does really well because people like to be together. But for people who actually care about the game and want to watch the team, it's hard for them to get invested because the owners don't care and might move the team away at any point. So I understand people's frustration.
Fucking Vegas, though.
Yeah, gross.
It was so fucking hot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yuck.
No, it's so much more fun when there's a Bay Series, too.
It's so fun.
I mean, that was like 25, 30 years ago, but...
Yeah, but no, every year or every season, there's a couple of like Bay Bridge series where they play each other, and it is super fun. And this is when inevitably somebody gets shitty with me because they're like, can't root for both. Because I'm like, hey, everybody, let's have a good game.
Sonia is like a classic, could have been a judge. Like Sonia is so fair and equitable. She always has to know the other side. She always has to be fair. You're so awesome. That way.
Thank you. But I am more Giants than A's. Like I think I used to be a little bit more A's than Giants, but then I got divorced. So yeah, fuck that. I'm more Giants than A's now, but that's okay. Let's talk about the movie.
Yes.
Sorry, everybody. Remember when we were talking about Major League?
We can still talk. I mean, look, it's a classic 80s sports movie. It's slightly dirty, but not really. It's less dirty than, Bull Durham is the sexy movie. This is not sexy.
No.
There's nothing. Even Margaret Whiting, they have her, she's super hot. They have her in a dress. They have her down to a bikini or pasties.
Yes.
It's like they don't go that extra whatever.
Yes.
But I think it's genuinely I like the baseball scenes.
I love the baseball scenes.
They're really well done. They got 20,000 people to fit a stadium.
Yeah.
And I guess just taught them like what to react to. And it does feel like the real thing. I get excited about it. And I liked it when they play Wild Thing, the band X's version.
Yeah.
And it's Charlie Sheen, and that song became a hit for a while.
It was a thing. Like it was back on the radio. It was super. It's super fun, and there is a whole thing about. So when Rachel's plan becomes unveiled or revealed that she just wants to tank the team, they do this whole thing about like, we need to win the whole fucking thing, and they like come together and they start winning. And I guess like there is this also like random storyline where like Roger Dorn's wife, the Corbin Bernsen character, like sees Roger cheating on her on TV.
Is she an actress?
The woman who's playing the wife?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But I mean like not the one who's playing her. Is her character an actress?
Oh, you know what? I don't know. They never say like what she does. Maybe she's just a
hot housewife.
Yeah, maybe she's hot.
Yeah, I love the scene. So she sees her husband cheating on her basically.
Yeah,
He's
on
like TV.
TV
with some trollop. So she's like, well, fuck that. So she flies to where they're playing, and then she seduces Charlie Sheen in the most 1989 way a woman could seduce a man. Like that outfit.
Yeah.
And the stuff she's saying to him and the hitting, it's like, oh my God, it's nothing more 1989 than that. It's kind of hilarious. And it's like, she's very hot. She's cute. It's like, Charlie Sheen's super cute. He's a ball player. Don't tell me there's chicks not falling all over him everywhere he goes. Look, I think Charlie Sheen is a garbage person. We did an episode of What a Creep about Charlie Sheen. 1989 Charlie Sheen? He can have it.
Smash. Like
Smash, you can have this. Yeah. And I just like when I went to San Jose State, there was a AAA Giants team there. I don't know if it's still there, but those players would walk around like the cock on the walk.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
Yeah. I mean, there's just no way. Right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's the same thing with rock stars. Like it's almost like it's like the peacock thing, right? It's like I'm like, how do I like male peacocks are the ones that have like the feathers that are like super gorgeous, and that's how they attract their mate. I'm just like, that's what sports is. That's what rock stars are. That's what acting is. It's like it's to a certain extent it's peacocking, and I get it. Like again, smash, like it would work. And so like she hooks up with him. The way she's like, you're a good kid, bye, and leaves. And apparently he's roommates with Tom Berenger. So then Tom Berenger's like, duh. Like, oh. And now that's like looming over everything. But they don't even like really deal with it. Like at some point, Roger like punches Vaughn in the face and then helps him up and hugs him because they win the big game. Spoiler, everybody. They win the big game, but the big game, it isn't the World Series. It's like a 1-game playoff to like win the title for their division.
Oh, it's not the World Series?
No!
I voiced this whole time. I thought it was the World Series.
Okay, so I remember I saw this in the theater. I've seen it countless times. For some reason, I always had it in my head that this was the World Series because I think that's what a lot of baseball movies do. This time watching it, I was like, wait a second. What's really...
game?
Yeah, and I was like, what's really happening here? They win their division.
Well, you know what, though? It is exciting when your team wins the division. I will say that. And especially if they've had a shit season.
Yeah.
And I do kind of enjoy that rush because the World Series is coming up. Once the World Series comes, like it's all agita because you just want them to win. Like it's just like, I don't know. There's that fun feeling like, oh, we're going to go to the thing now.
Yeah, exactly.
Or just being number one in the division is enough. Especially
it's exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always fun.
Hey, Margot, hold on a second. My kid is here asking me something. What's up, Calvin? You're welcome. My sweet boy asking for permission before he eats one of the cookies he made.
Aw, what did you make? What kind of cookies?
They're sugar cookies. And he made them all, they're all shaped like the alphabet. Like, it's pretty fun. I posted pictures on Instagram if anybody wants to
I didn't see that yet. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. He made these cookies that are all shaped like letters, and anyway, he's going to eat them because they're fucking delicious. I get it. Enjoy, man.
That's a breakfast of champions.
It really is. Knock yourself out. Mommy's recording. Eat all the cookies you want.
Run around with scissors and then fall asleep by the fire pit.
Mommy's recording. So yes, they win their division. It's always fun when your team wins.
Yes.
And
it's a high.
It is a high, and I love all the stuff where they cut to all the different fans and like their different and they're like high-fiving people and they're so happy, and it is a thing, and it does bring people together that normally wouldn't interact when your team wins, when you both root for the same team. And there's a whole thing where like a dude's like hugging a punk rocker or whatever, it's like
I like that scene.
Yeah. By the way, one of my favorite baseball movies isn't a baseball movie. It's The Naked Gun. I fucking love The Naked Gun. And there's a whole thing about baseball in the last half of that movie. And there's a whole thing at the end where they like, they don't win because he just saves the queen or whatever. But like they show all the like all the enemies like getting together and hugging. And it's like a mailman and a dog and like... stuff. It makes me laugh every time. So good. What else? Oh, and then Lynn shows up and she's not wearing her engagement ring because she makes bad choices, and she gets back together with Tom Berenger. The end.
With his bad knees, who's gonna like who's not gonna play another season.
No,
he's gonna be around the house.
Yeah, they're gonna break up.
Yeah, this is not
Yeah, do Lynn and Jake stay together? No.
She's a librarian. She's smart. She's just going through a phase. She needs to find somebody that appreciates her.
Exactly. He's totally going to cheat on her again.
Without a doubt, like in the next scene, he's going to. Please.
He starts making out with Charlie Sheen.
Okay, I'd pay to see that.
I would watch. I want
Don't threaten me with a good time.
three-way. Tell me why. All right. Do we have anything else to say about?
I think it's fun. I think it's sure it's problematic. It's been 25 years ago, so it's not gonna over 25 years ago. It's fun. It's a fun movie. 30 years ago? I can't do.
Oh my God! It's
It's over 30 years
like
ago.
over 30 years ago. It's
Jesus.
But it is super entertaining. Like
it's watchable. If you like watching teams win, like come from behind and figure their shit out and win. It's great. It has some great jokes. The payoff is, I do like those last scenes at the ballpark. I think they're really fun. They are the best parts of baseball for me, in that it gets people together like that.
Yes.
I mean, the whole the way that Native Americans are lampooned.
Yes.
Is not great. I'm just
not
gonna
great.
Go out on a limb. I know someone's gonna call me a snowflake or woke for saying that, but it's it's like if they were the Irishman and then he chugs back some beer, goes and gets in fights. Every time there's a whole home run. It's like a whole people were decimated because of us.
That's hilarious. Where's your sense of humor?
But other than that and the dating politics, I think it's truly funny. I think it's well timed. It's got a great cast.
Yes.
They work well together. It does make sense to me. It's a ridiculous plot. At the same time, it totally could happen.
Yeah.
And I liked it. I think it's fun.
Me too.
Am I going to watch it again? I don't know. But I liked certain parts of it very much.
I just like the baseball stuff.
Yeah.
Mainly. That's it. I just like, I think it's funny.
And when you live in a town, I don't know if this ever happened to you. Maybe it has never happened to you. But when you live in a town and the team is doing really well, it's fun to see people wearing the T-shirts and the hats and kind of high-fiving each other, giving each other a smile. It's just something to pull people together. And I think I'm always all for that. Yeah,
if you here in San Francisco, you can, during baseball season, you can always you'll find your people. If I'm wearing my hat or, I have a giant shirt I like to wear, someone will be sometimes there's a dude who wants to test me. Who'd they play last night? I was like, fuck off. I don't have to take a quiz for you, but the thing is, I usually have an answer because I probably watched, but whatever. I hate people that do that, but you can bond with people hey, they're having a good season. Isn't that awesome? Oh, they're so fun to watch right now. Just things like that. It gives you a little icebreaker with people when you're out and about. It's a little thing to talk about,
It's our national pastime, y'all. We invented it.
We invented it. I love baseball. By the way, if you haven't seen the baseball series that Ken Burns did, it's super good. And there's another one on Netflix called it was the Battered Bastards of Baseball, and it's about the other leagues besides the
Kurt Russell.
Yeah, and Kurt Russell played in the league, y'all. That's
up in Portland.
Really good, really entertaining documentary. There's ones about fastballs. There's ones about knuckleballs. There's some good shit.
I just had a memory when the Sharks first came to the Bay Area, they played at the Cow Palace. Does that even exist anymore?
Yes, it does.
It's an arena in San Francisco. It's a dump. But all the I saw the best shows. It's a dump. But I've all the best shows I've ever seen in my life were there.
Yes.
And that and the Beacon Theater, my two favorite places. My sister, I won season tickets for the first season for the Sharks, and they played at the Cow Palace. And my sister
hockey,
and I would
y'all.
go to games.
That's hockey, by the way.
That's hockey. And we hadn't had a hockey team in California in years. People didn't even know how it was played. So it was like that slap shot kind of feeling. Sometimes the Sharky would get stuck in midair when he's jumping down, and they wouldn't move the ice properly, and they'd have to take time to put the ice out. And And the players would kind of joke with you in the stands because nobody really knew how the game. They wouldn't even say like they don't even know how to play the game here.
No,
Like,
no, and like California, everyone in California is like, what is this cold water? It's ice. It's called ice. Like it's
called
ice.
And people got into it eventually because it's a super fun game. Like it's super happening. Like there's something going on every moment. But those first, we talked about, my sister were talking about, like it was so much fun because like hardly anybody was there.
Yeah.
The stakes were kind of low. There was no expectation for them, and the players were cute, and it was just super fun.
It was super fun. Yeah, they're still here, the San Jose, but they play in San Jose.
And they get a nice arena, right? They have like something.
Yeah, they've
fancy.
got their fancy stuff now.
Yeah,
we have a lot of sports teams here because we have the Warriors now too, who used to play in Oakland. Now they play in San Francisco, and they've just done nothing but fucking win championships. Like they're insanely popular here too. So we have lots of sports. Whatever you want, we got it here in the Bay Area. That's why the rent's so high.
That's right.
Do you want to hear about the other movies that came out in April 1989?
I certainly do.
Okay. Dead Calm.
That's Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, it's a good movie. That's a good
Great
one.
movie.
Dream Team.
Is that Michael Keaton?
Yes.
I know that movie. I know my Michael Keaton. I'm fluent in Michael Keaton.
Yes, you are. She speaks Michael Keaton.
I do.
Say Anything.
I have not seen that movie in a while. I know people love it.
Yes.
I like it fine. It's one of those I think I like it fine, but
I loved it at the time. I would be curious what adult Sonia would think.
I think it's something we need to cover one day because it would be. I think it'd be a really good discussion.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a total John Cusack freak.
Yes. The John Cusack, I'm like, I had all the love for John Cusack for sure. And I was like, I wish he was in love with me. And, you know, everything seemed very romantic about the movie. I would be curious how adult Sonia would respond. I know that this movie means a ton to a lot of people. So
yeah, I don't shit on it.
Yeah.
But I just don't love it as much as some of my friends do. Yeah.
Okay. A few other ones. She's Out of Control.
Is that the Tony Danza?
Yes.
I used to see movies all the time in '89.
Yeah, this is one of those, you know,
My daughter's going to get fucked tonight. I got to stop that.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
We talked about this one off mic. Winter People.
Yeah.
It's got Kurt Russell and Kelly McGillis, and it looks like a fucking bummer. Field of Dreams.
One of my faves.
So good. That one is really good. It'll make you cry. Pet Cemetery.
I don't want to be buried in a pet cemetery. Great movie. Really scary.
I think that movie is really creepy and
holds up.
And boy, when that kid gets hit by the bus, by the truck.
Spoiler!
I can't. He's so cute.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awful. Okay. K9.
Is that Jim Belushi?
Yes.
And the dog?
Yes.
Oh my shit.
We got so many like cops and dogs movies. Turner and Hooch, K9.
Yeah.
So many. Loverboy.
That's Patrick Dempsey, and he's stripping all the women.
Yeah.
Including Kirstie Alley.
Yeah. I feel like he did two movies that were kind of the same, where they were both like, I'm young and sleeping with lots of older women. And I think one was Loverboy and one was like In the Mood or something like that.
And I think that was set in like the 50s or 60s or something. Yeah. Okay. Patrick Dempsey, who grew up to be super hot.
Yeah. But McSteamy. He was McSteamy on Grey's Anatomy.
McSteamy.
And then the last movie is Miss Firecracker,
which you were just mentioning to me off the air.
Yes, it's based on a play, and it's got this cast that's like, it's like Tim Robbins and Holly Hunter and Scott Glenn, all these. I was like, damn, there's a whole bunch of people in this. And she could do it for book versus movie. Just saying.
Yeah. Do you want to hear the top 10 songs for when this came out?
Yes, I do.
I believe it was April 8th, 1989. So it's the top 40 American pop hits.
Yes.
Number 10, Tone Loc, Funky Cold Medina.
That song, problematic, but the beat of it is just it's kind of irresistible.
Walk the Dinosaur. That was a thing.
We love a song that tells us what to do. You want to walk like an Egyptian? Do you want to walk the dinosaur?
Right.
Yes.
It was a dancey thing.
Yes.
I think Paul Abdul choreographed it. It wouldn't surprise me.
I don't even know what it means, but I'm going to start using it randomly. Like, what were you doing this weekend? I walked the dinosaur. I walked the dinosaur. Ooh.
Here's another one. Vanessa Williams, Dreamin'. That was a good song.
I loved this song. So, like 18-year-old Sonia definitely had this on a mixtape.
Rod Stewart, My Heart Can't Tell You No. Ay, Rod, you were so cool.
Rod.
Which number is this? 6. REM, Stand. Great song.
Yeah, I love REM. Love.
This is really awesome. These are all great. Number 5, Madonna, Like a Prayer. That's a fucking great song.
That song is still dope. I love that song.
Number 4, Fine Young Cannibals, She Drives Me Crazy.
She drives me crazy. My sister had that on cassette. She played it all the time.
And that voice is annoying, don't you think? No?
Fine Young Cannibals weren't my jam.
No. This was your jam, I'm sure. Milli Vanilli, Girl, You Know It's True.
Totally was. Girl, You Know It's True.
True. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
I love you.
I love you.
And then you could blame it on the rain. You know.
Yes.
Don't forget my number. Yeah, and then you would see them in an interview and their accents were like super thick. And you're like,
It turned they were not only nominated for Best New Artist for the Grammys, but they won. And then within a few weeks, there was a tape. It's so sad because one of them was just lip syncing and live, and the tape got jammed. And it goes, "Girl, you know it's girl, you know it's girl, you
know it's." So awkward.
And they had to give back their Grammys, and it was kind of sad after that.
It gets real sad after that. But like those songs were really catchy.
They're catchy as shit. They were mall songs for me. Like you just always heard it. Yeah. Excuse me. So number 2, boy, this one got played all the time. The Bangles, Eternal Flame.
Yes, all the time.
All the time. And then I love this song. Number 1, Roxette, The Look.
Oh yes.
Na 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 na.
You got the look. So good. I was all in on that song.
Totally.
Remember when Roxette was a thing? Yes.
It's still a thing for me.
Yeah, that's true. They're still a thing for us.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a break and then we'll come back and talk about what else we're dorking out about. What else are you dorking out about, my friend?
I'm dorking out about the fact that there's this app. I have it on Roku. It's called Tubi, Tubi.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a free streaming service. It has a lot of commercials, but it runs on my Kindle. And I when I can't sleep, I'll put that on and just put on a bunch of shows like Happy Days or something like that, or Love Boat.
Yeah.
And it just it's sort of like Me TV. It tends to be kind of vintagey.
Yes.
But there's lots of movies there too. And so when I can't sleep, I put that on. Peacock, Real Housewives, Ultimate Girls Trip Free.
Oh, yeah. I'm in.
It's bananas. It's so who do you like and who do you not like?
Okay, let me just say our girls from Salt Lake, Heather and Whitney, y'all are rookies compared to these girls. like girls like Giselle. And by the way, I don't watch a lot of the other franchises, so a lot of these girls are new to me. So there's some from like Atlanta and some from Potomac, and then there's Miami. I never watched that, but like I think it's like Giselle, Portia, those two in particular. Like they know how to do it. Like
and Candace,
thank you. And they know how to stir up shit. Like they know how. Like you can't tell them shit. They will tell everybody, and they will ask you in front of everybody. And Whitney and Heather are just not as good at that as they are, and so the fact that they are newbies is definite, and Leah too. Actually,
Yeah.
it shows, but it's making for very entertaining watching.
It's really fun.
Who's your favorite?
I actually like Giselle. I know a lot of people don't because she's shady. I think Portia's one of the funniest people
She's so funny
ever. Portia is like could be Lucille Ball. Like she's super, super funny.
Yes.
And her timeline is shady with her second husband. But other than that, I don't mind. I like the women from Miami. I love it that they talk shit in Spanglish and Giselle just goes nuts.
Those two are, first of all, I don't watch the Miami, so they are much older than these other women. Yes.
Yes. And
Yes,
one of them, their mother was on the show.
Okay.
And she was a superstar. She was a woman that had a lot of face work done. It was really sad because she had some heart surgery when she was very beautiful when she was young.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody said she looked like Sophia Loren. And then she had some heart surgery, and then she wanted to get plastic surgery like all of her friends, but the doctor said, no, we can't put you under sedation. Yeah. So she did fillers and Botox, and it
didn't go well.
It didn't go well. And so, I really get it. She's a superstar in the show though, because she just didn't give a shit. She was really funny, and it kept her daughter on the show basically because she wasn't as clever as her mother. But I think they're fun though. I mean, it's a good mix. I love Portia's just like, get me KFC. I want that for breakfast. I want KFC.
They
so
have
bad now.
like I don't know what
Pepsi?
Pepsi is like he's like their house manager or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's running the house. He's a delight.
We need a Pepsi. Like he's so lovely and fun. Always says yes.
He's
so managing them.
So sweet to them. Like and just really is trying to like make them have he wants them to have a good time. He's very sweet.
Yeah. And they're in Thailand?
Yeah, they're in Thailand. It looks amazing. Like,
yeah,
where
it looks like they're having...
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just say where they're staying looks...
amazing.
Yeah, it looks gorgeous. And I mean, everywhere... It's so funny to me that they're going out somewhere and they're like, now we're doing a Mardi Gras theme. And I was like, you're in Thailand. Like, what are you doing?
But they figure it out.
But yeah, they make it work. Or, yeah.
They get demerits because they were taken to an animal elephant sanctuary and they bitched about it. I'm like, how dare you?
Yeah.
Because I super love elephants.
Yeah.
And I don't care if they shit in the water. I'm fine.
Yeah, I would have been fine with that.
Yeah.
Actually, I will say, I think Whitney is a pretty good sport.
Yes.
You know, Heather used to be my favorite of all the housewives, but I think she started to believe her own press, and
yes,
she's not as fun to me anymore. Whitney on this show, I was like, she makes some choices where I was like, that wouldn't be my choice, but that's okay. No one on Housewives will ever make the same choice that I would make because they're real housewives and it's their job to do things. But I will say, Whitney is a very good sport. She does whatever is asked to her. She doesn't usually bitch about it. She tries.
She never complains.
She's not a complainer.
Right.
She goes for it.
Yeah, there was a bug or something at the dinner table, and they all took off.
Yeah.
There was somebody had a chainsaw that was all of a sudden running through the room, and it wasn't. And she just got up and moved away. And they're like, "Aren't you scared?" She says, "No, I'm from Utah. I'm used to bugs and animals. I don't care." She's just her and Heather were just very relaxed. What are they freaking out about? But they Other than that, though, but I find it really amusing. Yellow Jackets is back.
I haven't started yet, but I will be starting on Monday.
It's going to be my Sunday night viewing. I know the second episode, they finally get into what the show's supposed to really be about, and I'm excited.
Okay.
And HBO Max, I mentioned this on What a Creep, but I really can't recommend enough. It's the Nan Golden documentary,
Yes.
All the Beauty and the Bloodshed.
Yeah, that's on my list.
She's a 1970s New York City photographer. She's an activist. She's had an incredible life, and I really, really loved the documentary.
It is definitely on my list. So you are not watching Love is Blind?
Mm-mm.
Girl, it's so good. It's so good. I fucking love Love is Blind. I don't understand why I like it, but I really, really like it. And this season is bananas. The whole premise, by the way, if you don't know what Love is Blind is people like date sight unseen. They put them in these little pods and you date a lot of different people, and their whole idea is to see if love is blind. Like, do you make these connections and will it last in the real world? And it's had little success. I think there's a couple from the first season that's still together. I think there's a couple from the second and third seasons who are still together. But the whole idea of is love blind? Well, probably not, because first of all these people are super beautiful.
Right.
They're beautiful. It's not, there's not, but I will say there are some people who are very ugly on the inside this season. Very ugly. We had a couple of mean girls this season who were like laughing at the other women as they were crying about their heartbreak, and it was really shitty. Like, it was just real mean girls. If you met them in real life, you would be like, ew. But I just really love this show, and I'm fascinated by the choices they make. There's definitely some people who are like, I'm just in this for screen time. Like, they're just saying yes to things because they want to get on the next season of Perfect Match or Too Hot to Handle or something, or Fuckboy Island or whatever. Like, they're not there because they're really looking for a spouse. But there are some that are, and one of them is a couple named Brett and Tiffany, and they're a little bit older than everyone else. And I'm like, they're in love. They're legit in love, and they're going to get married. There's like, if you watch the show, you would be like, yeah, that's a match. Everyone else, I don't think so. But those two, I'm like, if they don't get married, I'll legit cry. I will cry and I'll be like, love is dead. Love is dead. Like, I truly believe that they're in love. So they've been dropping episodes, like, I think they've been dropping them like 4 at a time. So I'm actually 1 episode behind. So, and I think next week will be all the weddings. So I'm very excited for that. And, my work has a whole like Love is Blind Slack channel, and we're all in there like just going nuts. It's so good, y'all. So if you want to, I posted something in our What a Creep group, but if some Dorking Out listeners want to talk about it, I'll post something on the Dorking Out on Facebook, because I love to talk about Love is Blind.
Everyone needs their thing.
Everyone needs their thing. I am watching Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, though, as I mentioned. And I want to mention a song that I heard for the first time the other day that I really like, and maybe you've heard it. It's a song called Labor by Paris Paloma. Have you heard this song? I don't think I know it. Okay, I heard it for the first time the other day, and it's just like, for someone, the words are very like, it's about like the physical labor that women did in relationships, and there's also like the emotional labor that women do in relationships. And I don't know, the song is just hitting me in a soft spot, and I listen to it a lot, and it's just, for someone who's supposed to be my savior, you sure do make me do a lot of labor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it kind of goes through time. It's about like the women who back in the day were like going and getting all the water and cooking all day so that men didn't have to lift a finger, and then kind of the idea of the 50s where all the work women are doing so that men could live out their like white picket fence dream, and to now where like a lot of women do the emotional labor of the relationships, and dudes just dude, basically. Not all dudes, hashtag not all dudes, but
that's so what.
But It's a really
seriously. Yeah,
but
we know it's not all dudes.
We know it's all not all dudes, but it's a really good song, and it's Labor, and it's Labour, like, you know, the like British spelling, but it's a really good song, and I can't stop listening to it. It's really good. I don't, you know, I'm pretty lame. Well, I shouldn't say that word. I'm pretty square when it comes to music, but this is a new one that came out and hit me in a soft spot, so I wanted to mention it. So thanks for talking about baseball with me. I hope I didn't get the show is called Dorking Out, so I really dorked out. So if you made it this far and you made it through all my baseball talk, thank you for that, and thank you to Margot for humoring me.
I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, my friend, where can people find you on the internet?
You could find me on Twitter, while that still exists, at Brooklyn Margot. Instagram, it's Brooklyn Fit Chick. My site is Brooklyn Fit Chick. And then I am at Margot Donahue on the TikTok.
And if you see us on the socials, like, give us a like, send us a request, like, give us a little engagement, especially on Twitter. They're dropping the whole checkmark thing. So we don't have check marks anyway, but like the algorithm's changing and we still want to find our people. So if you see us, let us know that you saw us. That would be awesome. You can find me at thesoniashow.com and The Sonia Show on Twitter and Instagram and the TikTok. And if you like our show, dorkingoutshow.com. We're also on Twitter. We're also on Facebook. Maybe I'll go in there and post some Love is Blind stuff for us. Give us a review on wherever you listen to your podcasts. We'll give you a shout out on the show, and you can email us at dorkingoutshow@gmail.com. We'll send you some stickers wherever you are on the planet of Earth, and send us your requests, because we do requests. Somebody sent us a request already yesterday. They want to know when we are going to do, hold on. Shit, where'd it go?
Romy and Michelle?
Yes, somebody asked for Romy and Michelle, which is a movie I love that I don't think Margot's super into, and so we're very we don't want to. Yeah,
but I think I could do it.
We'll put it on the list for sure. Yeah. But we've got April mapped out, y'all. So
we're excited. We got some good stuff coming up.
Yeah, we do. This was super fun. Thank you, my friend, for talking about baseball with me.
You make my heart